welcome to this episode of Thai Food. In this episode we're going to make a white queso cheese dip. I don't know anybody who doesn't like a white queso cheese dip, to be honest with you, but I'm sure there's somebody who does. But we're going to make my version of it. We're going to start off with 1.5 tablespoons of butter here. I'm going to get that in there, get it heating up. I'm going to do it on a medium-low. If I need to, I can always turn it down. You don't want to go too fast with this, because you get going too fast and you're going to burn something. And I'm also going to take and get a 1/2 cup of milk in there so it can start warming up as well. Because the idea is you want to get this warmed up so that when you put the cheese in, it melts it. And you know, get everything melted right in, make one cohesive dish. So we got a 1/2 cup, and I'm just using whole milk. I find this at Dollar Tree. I can store it in the pantry, and then when I want to make something with whole milk, I got a quart on hand for $1. I don't have to go buy a whole gallon and then worry about using up the whole gallon before it goes bad. Alright, so for the cheeses, I also got a 7-ounce can of diced, fire roasted, and peeled green chilies. Great Value brand. It's a 7-ounce can. We're going to want that in there as well at some point here. But I'm going to let that heat up there. And I got an 8-ounce block. I went to the deli, asked for an 8-ounce block of White American. And got the White American going. Or got the White American there. Check this here. It looked like it was starting to steam a little. I'm going to bump it down to low. Yeah, I can see the steam coming off it already. So we're going to take the White American, and I got an 8-ounce block of Monterey Jack, because I like the flavor the Monterey Jack imparts in here. You can make it with just the American if you want to, but I like the Monterey Jack myself, so I'm going to use it in there. And you want to grate this. I have made it without grating it, but it takes a little bit longer to melt the cheese in. That's the only difference. So if you don't want to grate it, you just want to cube up the cheese, go ahead. Nobody's going to fault you for it. As long as you got the time to melt the cheese, you're good to go. Okay. Brush those little crumbs on the bottom there. Pat that back so I make some room for the next block here. And we're just going to get these grated. Butter's still melting in there. We're good to go. Now, I have tried making this with just straight Monterey Jack. It doesn't turn out so well. Something about the American that helps make it a cohesive cheese sauce. I tried making a roux with the Monterey Jack. It ends up getting a little stringy, kind of like mozzarella in there. Not that that's a bad thing, but it just wasn't the sauce I was looking for. So I found the perfect ratio was 1/2 and 1/2. Get enough flavor from the Monterey Jack coming through, and it all melts in good with the American. Okay. Set that right there. Clean my cutting board off here. I see some of it going all over the place. Get that in there so it can start melting. Go ahead and stir in the American here. Let that warm up. And then when I'm ready, I can bump it back up to medium-low again and get it going a little faster. Actually, I'm going to just go ahead and do that now. Shouldn't take me long to grate this Monterey Jack. So both of these are fairly soft cheeses, so they grate pretty good. We're also going to use some homemade ground roasted cumin. And my batch is actually starting to get a little low, so I'll probably do that in a video coming up here so you can see what I do for it. There's a store nearby that sells Mexican ingredients, so I can just walk in there and get whole cumin. And they got a whole mixed cumin that comes with the black pepper that I like as well. But I also add some peppercorn medley when I get home to it. There we go. Get all my little pieces in there. There we go, it's starting to warm up now. This could be a fairly quick dish. Another thing you can do is once you get this all melted and everything, you put it in a vessel, you know, like a Pyrex dish or something, and go out to your smoker if you're smoking some meat that day, make a smoked queso. I got a friend of mine that he does that quite often when he has cookouts on the weekends. Takes the queso right to the smoker and makes a smoked queso. Alright, while that's still heating up, we're going to go ahead with the spices. So, like I said, I got some roasted home ground cumin. At one point I actually bought roasted ground cumin before I started making my own. That's how I come across the dish, or the shaker here. We're going to go with a ½ teaspoon of ground cumin in there. That's all you're going to need for that. And then we got some granulated garlic here. I'm going to go with a ½ teaspoon of that as well. Give this a stir real quick. This is melting pretty good already. See, it's getting there. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and add in my chilies. If I can get them mixed in. This will help cool the temperature down a little bit too. You smell that, Copper, do you? Cat's over here eyeballing the cheese. He's a bit spoiled. He gets scraps from time to time. There's one more thing I forgot to grab out of the fridge. My roasted garlic paste. I like to utilize this as much as possible. We're also going to do some fresh ground pepper. Put as much or as little of this in as you'd like. I'm doing a heavy dose. It's going to be probably close to a ¼ teaspoon of it. And you can put cayenne pepper in here too if you want to amp up the heat. But I like to keep it really mild myself. There we go. And a little bit of salt as well. We'll do about a ¼ teaspoon of salt. And that'll be it for that. And ½ teaspoon of the roasted garlic paste. Thereabouts. Alrighty, we'll just get this mixed in. You can see it's fairly thick, but once it's all heated up, it thins out pretty good. I'm going to bump it up to medium here. Now that I'm able to be attentive to it. Stir it quickly here. Oh yeah, it's coming together now. And like most things, once it flavors through overnight, I bet it'll be even better tomorrow. Also, if you wanted to, if the green chilies are not diced fine enough for you, you can put them in a food processor and make them even smaller. I'm not sure how an immersion blender would work on a cheese sauce like this, but you're more than welcome to try it. Me, I kind of like the chunks that leaves in there myself. There we go. Looks good. I'd say we have a queso dip here. It's nice and smooth. Except for the chunks of the green chilies, of course. So of course we're going to have to sample this to make sure we did it right. So I'm going to go ahead and lick this off because I'm done with that. Perfect flavor. Just the way I wanted it. Thanks for tuning in. That's a full queso dip. And like I said, you can put it in a smoker if you wanted to at this point. Get a nice smokiness going on it. But I don't think it needs anything else, in my honest opinion. If you do make it, please leave me some feedback. Let me know what you think. Don't forget the little bell icon on YouTube there. It'll let you know when I upload a new video. And check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Have a good one.